houses both just have enormous respect for each other.
Come live with me.
White gladiator has that big striped spear at the neck.
Inspires flame during dessert.
Look, the judges are nodding. Even the Egyptian judge is impressed.
Until recently, you claimed that the Earth revolved around the sun.
Welcome to History Bites. I'm Rick Green. Popular music has a long tradition of controversy, from the latest crop of gangster rappers to the Rolling Stones in the 60s, even 1940s teen heartthrob Frank Sinatra. Actually, even before 1940. Around the year 340 BC, a group of musicians were shaking up the Greek music scene, and the older generation didn't like what they were hearing. Traditional Greek music had been very serious, usually one person singing to the accompaniment of a small harp or lyre. But this new music rocked and rolled. It was based on a loud body type of tune sung by groups to honor Dionysius, the Greek god of drinking and good times. So let's party hardy Athens style, because when you want to learn about lewd and scandalous behavior that corrupts our youth, you don't need to look any further than television.
Tonight on Behind the Muses and the Music, they were the Fab Four. They shook up music, challenged the establishment, and introduced the world to a new beat. They were the Greekles.
Help me if you can, my walls are down, and my warships have all sunk or gone aground. Barbarians are running through my town.
Spartan Pepper's Lonely Harpies Band. I Wanna Hold Your Sandal. Odyssey Writer. Lady Medusa. The Ballad of Telestes and Poco. All these smash hits were written by a group of young musicians who shook up the Greek music scene. The 340 BCs were times of social upheaval and political unrest. Soldiers were poised to fight against the Macedonian invaders who would sweep the country. Yet while soldiers marched to the sound of a drum trying to resist a military invasion, teenage toes were tapping to the sound of a new wave of music makers who were embracing a musical invasion. Tonight on Behind the Music, we take a look at four legendary artists: Timotheus, Philoxenus, Telestes, and Phrynis. Individually, they were four solo artists who played on their own, but together they were a group of four solo artists who played on their own.
Now, yesterday and today are theaters being jammed with scribes and hundreds of engravers from all over the nation. And these veterans agree with me that the city-state has never experienced the excitement stirred by these youngsters from the provinces. And now tonight, you're going to be twice entertained by them, right now, and again in the second half of our show. Here they are, ladies and gentlemen, the Greekles.
Close your eyes and just kiss us. For Dionysus, the god of the ecstatic rites. Then we'll both go away, catch a Greek on a spray, or watch the Pancratium fight.
All of Greece wanted to know about those lovable youngsters with their short hair and provincial accents. Even the men of the press were charmed by their cheerful smiles, witty responses, and their post-show press orgies.
Timotheus, I play Quitola.
I'm Phrynis. I play lead Cathara. Philoxenus, solos and vocals. Telestes, rhythm Cathara and barbiton.
Who's the oldest?
Well, I am.
He is.
I'm old enough to be your father. I died before you lot were born.
And now, Telestes, is it true that you're married and you don't sleep with boys?
It's supposed to be a secret.
Hello, Sparta! We'd like to do another number for you now. It's called Dionysus. Yeah!
What do you think of Athens?
Oh, it'll be nice when they get it finished.
I like all the marble.
I lost all me marbles in the last earthquake.
Greek citizens believed that the right kind of music could teach young people to be well-behaved and graceful. They also believed that the wrong kinds of music could corrupt their kids, turn them away from traditional values. Mind you, traditional values back then were kind of different from traditional values today.
Hypnus, in Sparta, what do they do with babies who are not healthy and strong?
Teach them mathematics.
No, leave them exposed to the elements on a hillside. Daedalus, at what age are Spartan boys sent to military school?
16 years old.
6. Teresa, how do they march in Spartan military school?
With batons and frilly outfits?
No, they march without shoes to make them strong.
And now a few minutes with Andros Runos.
Don't you get a little tired of guests who get drunk and throw up in your favorite kylix, then blame it on Pan or Dionysus? Gods have become excuses. Anyone who does anything wrong can just say, God's made me do it. The way I see it, the only God who really controls our behavior is the one who makes older Greek men start relationships with attractive boys in their early teens. There is a God for that, isn't there? I hope so, because those impulses have to come from someone. And I know it isn't me.
Will you sing something?
No. You'll have to pay us first, in chickens.
How do you find Athens?
Hey, paddle south from Lesbos, turn right at Thebes.
What do you say to those who claim you're turning your back on Greek tradition?
Well, we're not singing about fighting and killing. We're singing about love and drinking and orgies. And that's what the god Dionysus is all about.
1, 2, 3! I heard about a god. He's really quite a guy. His birth was rather odd. He came from Zeus's thigh. He says Elisa, and that sounds okay to me. He's Dionysus, coolest god in history.
Oh, I remember when we landed at the harbor at Athens, there were like thousands of people there. And we thought they were there for something else. And they were. It was the Pan-Athenaic Festival.
The Greekles, they changed the music scene for all of us. I remember walking down the streets of Athens that summer, and the music of the Greekles was like, it was everywhere. These 4 guys, they'd follow you down the street singing away. You had to give them money to get them to go away and leave you alone.
Hey, 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 baby, this is Murray the Kappa here on Gamma Nu Mu Sigma, your Nu Mu Sig station, 1010 on your Alpha Mu dial. And we've been taken over by the new music. We've got Dithyrambs playing morning, noon, and night, okay?
That's us. I know. We're playing them.
I love Timotheus. I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't get to see him. You know, he has such an intensity. I love him so much, right from my heart.
Influenza. Oh, influential, yes. Yes, the Greekles were hugely influential, yeah. I mean, we'd go to all of their performances and you'd hear them and they'd all be singing together, these high notes. And we're like, wow, can you do that? And apparently you could.
I'm 14. That's why I got to see the Greekles now, because in 2 months I get married and after that they won't allow me out of the house. Oh, God.
We're just like showing everyone how conservative Greek music was and Greek culture and Greek everything.
Would you ever go back to musicians who play in, say, the Dorian mode?
No, never. We love the Phrygian mode.
What about the Lydian mode?
No, never. We love the Greekles.
Well, I figure it won't last more than a couple of years. And after that, I'd fancy being a hairdresser. Or maybe doing the braids for the Spartans before they go to war.
So, I mean, there we were, and we were like, so this is Athens, the big city, you know? We'd never seen anything like it. And I turned to Telestes and I said, we're here, you know? I mean, it wasn't just the music, it was the orgies and the wine, the whole Dionysus lifestyle.
It's been a hard day's ride, and I've been chopping up a goat. It's been a hard day's ride, I watched him vanish into smoke.
They said that they might not let him into the temple.
Who said?
The priest said that they weren't going to bring him into the show tonight. I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't get to see him. I love Timotheus.
Don't you like any other bands?
No, the Greekles are number 1. They're number 1.
Even the Greekles' claim that they were number 1 got them in hot water.
Well, Patrick, let me tell you, I'm a Pythagorean, and I'm proud of my religious beliefs. And as a Pythagorean, I feel we know our numbers, and these musicians are not number 1. I mean, who's doing the math around here anyway?
If they're not number 1, are they a number at all?
Well, sure, everything and everyone is numbers. That's a given with our faith. But there's no way the Greekles are number one. They're probably some nothing number like 5,322. I shouldn't say a nothing number, but a less important number anyway.
Could this be the end of Greek civilization as we know it? Stay tuned.
Barbarians are running through my town.
To the Greek philosophers, music was more than just recreation. Pythagoras and his followers noticed that there was a precise relationship between music and mathematics, and they decided that music must be the fundamental force behind absolutely everything, from the music of harp strings to the music of the spheres. So bad music didn't just make you a bad person, it upset the balance of the universe.
But when I offered to Zeus, he said my lifestyle's too loose, which makes me feel uptight.
So we should leave mathematics to the mathematicians and leave music to the musicians.
Well, no, I would say we should leave the music to the mathematicians, too. Music is just math, after all. It's all math. Pythagoras proved that. I can show you the mathematical relationship between the length of the string and the sounds that come out of them. As a mathematician, I can tell you that this modern music is not the music that people should be listening to.
Rejected syllogisms. Aristotle's top 10 rejected syllogisms. Here we go. Number 10, all men are mortal. Socrates is a man, therefore Socrates needs nookie. Number 9, hemlock is a poison. Socrates drank hemlock, therefore Socrates is very mortal. Number 8, all men are mortal. My mom is a woman, therefore my mom is immortal. Number 7, all syllogisms are false, therefore... Number 6, some men are mortal. Socrates is mortal. Therefore, Socrates is some man.
I'm here in Corinth, where the fashion designer Flaxus is unveiling his new line of athletic wear that will be worn by the Corinthian athletes at this year's Olympic Games. And never has buck naked looked so good. At least on athletes.
And the number 1 rejected syllogism, all men are mortal, so be careful out there.
What sort of music people should be listening to?
Well, yes, the classics, of course. They should listen to the classics. You know, Patrick, the music of the spheres is playing all the time.
Yes, that would be the celestial music created by the movement of the stars and planets.
Well, that's right. It's playing all the time, and it's great music. But people are so used to it, they don't hear it.
That's right.
Rock to the Greekles' new sound and sales of Greekles pottery and Greekles mosaic sword, there was heartbreak for the Fab Quad. Manager Epstenis killed himself because of rumors that he was different.
He didn't take an interest in boys. He really loved the ladies. I mean, we all love them as vessels for our seed, but he loved them more like equals. And of course, that was very not done.
The problems for the Greekles multiplied. A chance remark by Telestes to a friend led to troubles with the authorities in Athens.
Well, folks, as you know, our state mythology says that Athena hates the double pipes. Apparently she was blowing on them, made her face look funny, so she cursed them. Now, we got this foreign musician who says our city myths are simply urban legends. We want you to have your say, so we have set up drop-off locations all around the city. You can let us know what you think about the double pipes by throwing them away. You know what? This Greekle music has got to go. It's out of here. Bye-bye. See you later.
I wasn't trying to be blasphemous or deny what Athena stood for, say that we knew better than Athena as a goddess or a woman or whatever it is. I was just making a statement about how she felt about the pipes these days. Now it's turned into all this.
You feel you were misquoted?
Well, yeah. The whole thing's ridiculous. Everybody's in an uproar about what I was saying. But I wasn't really saying what they were saying I was saying. That's what I'm saying. They were just saying it was. I've lost track of what I was saying.
Well, I think the real frictions began when Telestes got involved with Poco Unos, who was a temple virgin from Corinth.
So, how did you two meet?
Well, I was down at the temple, and I asked her how she was, and she didn't say anything. She just pointed to a ladder, so I climbed the ladder, and right at the top there was a scrap of parchment with tiny writing on it, and I read the words, "Fine, thank you." So I thought, great, a woman who won't talk back.
Poco, could you tell us what first attracted you to Telestes?
See what I mean?
No, I don't think Poco was the cause of the band breaking up. We didn't treat her any worse than we treated any other woman. I mean, we treated her really badly, but just normal ancient Greek chauvinist bad.
Oh, I went to their hotel room. It was so horrible. They made me go to the Agora, you know, the market. And they told me to go do some shopping for them. They treated me like a slave or a Greek wife or something. I thought they were different.
I remember this one time I'd just written a song. In fact, it was These Virgin Arms. These virgin arms. I took it to Telestes to ask his opinion, and he threw the wax tablet onto the fire, picked up my harp and broke it, and asked me to massage his feet. Right, so as I said, they had a strong opinion about women's roles in society. It was somewhere between slaves and goats.
Coming up, sex and wine and rock and roll.
Zeus, he says my lifestyle's too loose, which makes me feel uptight.
In ancient Greece, nice, respectable citizens wanted nice, respectable music with nice, respectable lyrics. Lyrics that preserved ancient stories and taught lessons. But in the 4th century BC, along came a new wave of music that was all about sexy rhythms. Nobody was listening to the lyrics, and the only lesson on the agenda was biology.
I remember we were performing at one of the big sports arenas, and people were literally tearing off their clothes and running around naked and jumping and throwing things. You could see everything.
And they weren't even the athletes.
Oh, no, they just couldn't resist us. We were athletes? How do you mean?
Athletes, that's how they compete in the games.
How? Naked? All right.
This one's very, very special because if you can see the strings.
Yes?
The
11.
Kathara is a 7-string instrument.
The extra string things, yes. Well, Tim was in a lot of trouble over that one.
It will always be a 7-string instrument.
But when you get to string 7 on your Kathara, where can you go from there? Where?
I don't know.
Nowhere, exactly. But with this one, if you want a little bit extra, want to sing a few notes higher.
And no Kathara will come into Sparta unless it is strung as a 7-string instrument.
Well, they were going to charge him, but just in the nick of time, one of the other boys, Telestes, I think it was, found a picture of Apollo with an 11-string Kathara. It was probably drawn by some artist who didn't know what a Kathara was supposed to look like, but, well, it got him acquitted.
Help! I see some Spartans. Help! I think I'll call the Persians. Help! There's an attack by Athens. Help!
Well, they experimented with mind-altering substances, yes, Scythian cannabis, of course. But that led to the hard stuff. They started using wine. I don't mean our Greek wine. No, they were drinking the Scythian way, you know, just straight wine, uncut, full-bore grape, no water, none at all, pure 12% alcohol. Well, of course, when that got out, people were very shocked.
It was supposed to be about the music and changing things, but they won't change, do they, the people? Now we're doing these movies and all this other crap. We had become like slaves to the whole Greekles myth. And I don't want to be a myth. I'm Telestes, not Homer. But that's why I wrote Yellow Trireme.
The pressures on the Greekles were enormous. There was a rumor going around that Timotheus was dead, and then we realized he was dead. And when you look back on it, well, his music had been going downhill. By the end, the boys were arguing all the time. Phil wanted to keep doing things in Phrygian mode. Telestes wanted to experiment with Dorian, Lydian modes, and Phrynis just wanted to go off and conquer the Persians.
You know, everybody in the music industry was talking about the Macedonian invasion, and we wanted to be the first to hear this new music. So we went north towards Macedonia, you know, to hear the invasion. And then we found out the Macedonian invasion really was an invasion, you know, just like soldiers, armies, you know, there's not really any music except, you know, so that pretty much wrapped it up for Greek culture.
Creative differences within the Greekles, plus the death of several of its members, eventually caused the band to split up. But the music they made lives on in our memories.
Did the new music and its highly paid stars really weaken and corrupt ancient Greek society? It's possible. Then again, maybe the problem had more to do with Greek society's intolerance of anything that seemed too new or too spectacular or too different. Many Greeks who drew attention to themselves, whether musicians like Timotheus or philosophers like Socrates, became easy political targets for rabble-rousers and quickly found themselves facing charges of corrupting the youth or showing disrespect for the gods. Soon, Greek culture began to fade, and after a few more decades of squabbling and infighting, the Greek city-states were conquered by the Macedonians and later the Romans. Since most of the music was never written down, it's been lost to history. And history, even musical history, bites.
Gods are part of our Greek tradition.
Olympus is full of gods, right? I mean, it's not just Mars and Mercury. I mean, if it weren't for Neptune, we never would have made it here.
We're just honoring the gods we like. That's the thing, eh? Fun gods.
What?
I love Timotheus. I don't know what I'm gonna do if I don't get to see him. Nobody's better than the Greekles. You know, I truly feel they represent a new era in Greek culture. I wrote them an ode.